Hello, my name is Elsa Yaulema. I am going to talk about Introduction to Discourse Analysis and Grammar. The chapter leaves traditional grammatical categories: clause, pronouns, conjunctions which turn from discourse analysis, them, rem, and reference. It seeks to show how grammar operates within the entire text, not just in isolated sentences. Okay, grammatical cohesion and textuality. Definition: a formal connectivity between sentence through grammatical resources that make a text sit together and make sense. Key device: reference, ellipsis and substitution, and conjunction. Reference: use of pronouns and demonstrative that refer to elements within or outside the text. Ellipsis or substitution: omission of substitution to avoid explicit repetition. Conjunction: words that connect ideas and show logical relationships. Example: and, but, however. These resources help make that text cohesive and easy to follow, which is essential for any reading or linguistic production. Thank you. In conclusion, this course analysis goes beyond the grammar of or isolate sentence and focus on how grammatical structure contributes to textual unity and the transmission of meaning. Second, teaching grammar based on discourse helps students understand and produce more coherent, authentic texts. And number three, discourse analysis explains how grammar connects ideas and organizes information within complete text, facilitating more contextualized and meaningful language teaching. Thank you very much.
Greeting the professor, I'm Maria Isabel Villares. Today I'm going to talk about the concept of cohesion, which according to Michael McCarry is one of the pillars of discourse analyzing. Well, cohesion refers to all the linguistic mechanisms that allow a text to be internally connected. That is, it is the way in which word, phrase, and sentence are linked together to form a unique and not a set of isolated ideas. For example, when we talk about a person and then use pronouns like he, she, or they, we avoid repeating the name constantly. This use of refers makes to the text more natural and fluid. Another important resource is lexical repetition, which consists of repeating of keyword or using synonyms to maintain the same theme throughout the text. This is very common in academic texts where a central idea is reinforced. We also find connectors such as and, but, because, or however that help us express relationship between ideas, such as cause, contrast, or consequence. Without this connector, the text would be confusing and difficult to follow. However, Macquarie points and something very important: a text can be perfectly cohesive from a grammatical point of view and still not be clear or understandable. This leads us to understand that cohesive is necessary but not sufficient for a text to make complete sense. That's all. Okay, teacher, in this slide, I'm going to talk about the concept of coherence, which completes and expands the idea of cohesion. Word cohesion focuses on word and structure of the text. Coherence focuses on the overall meaning and how the reader or listener interpret the message. A text is coherent when the ideas are organized and in logical and progressive way. This means that art is clear order. First, the topic is introduced, then is developed, and finally the information is concluded or expanded. Macquarie explained that coherence doesn't depend only the text, but also the reader. prior knowledge, personal experience, and cultural context directly influence discourse comprehension. For example, a text may seem incoherent to a person who doesn't know the topic, but totally clear to someone familiar with it. This shows that coherence is built in the reader's mind, not just on paper. In addition, the communicative context is key. We do not speak the same in an informal conversation as we do in a class or in academic texts. The purpose of discourse is to inform, persuade, and narrative, and also influence its coherence. In conclusion, teacher, for a speech to be effective, must achieve not only good linguistic cohesion, but also a coherence that allows the reader to understand and make sense of the message. That's all, teacher. Thanks.
Hi teacher, my name is Macarena Viteri, and in this slide, I'm going to talk about theme and rhyme and how they work in discourse. First, the theme is the part of the sentence we start with. It tells the listener or reader what the sentence is about. Very often, the theme is the subject, but it doesn't always have to be. The rim is the rest of the sentences. This is where we add new important or interesting information. And in other words, the theme introduces the topic and the rim tell us something about what topic. Um, for example, um, in the sentence "I live in Paris," the theme is "I" because that is what the sentence is about, and the rim is "live in Paris" because that is the new information. When we look at full text, not just single sentences, we can see patterns. Sometimes the rim of one sentence becomes the theme of the next sentence. This helps ideas connect smoothly. Um, Another common pattern is repeating the same theme in several sentences. This keeps the focus clear and helps the reader follow the topic. These theme rhyme patterns are not strict rules, but they are very useful. They help text sounds natural, organized, and easy to understand, especially in academic writing and presentations. Thank you. Okay, teacher, so in this slide, I will explain how tense and aspect work in discourse. Since choices are not only about time, they also depend on the type of text and the speaker's purpose. Different kinds of discourse use different tenses more often. So, the present perfect is commonly used for recent news, personal experiences, or changes that are still relevant now. For example, in news reports, we often hear sentences like, the government has announced a new plan. On the other hand, the past simple is used to talk about completed events. Um, it is very common in stories, narratives, or descriptions of past actions. And in spoken stories and anecdotes, speakers sometimes use the historic present. This means they talk about events using the present tense. So, the reason for this is to make the story more vivid, dramatic, and engaging for the listener. It helps It helps highlight the most important moments of the history. So this shows that grammar is closely connected to meaning, perspective, and communication, not just fixed rules. Thank you.